What is the most breathtaking thing you've ever seen happen on an NBA court? I'll answer that question for you. Me personally, I would have been out of breath, needed a gallon of electrolytes, and would have put my name on the very top of the inactive list before the game because I would have died trying. But the insane part about it all is that this is just the man's pregame routine. He still has 40 minutes of an NBA game to play ahead of him, probably is going to drop between 6 and 8 three-pointers, and is going to fool yet another team into thinking they really had a chance to stop this man. But this routine has been a staple in Steph's pregames for the longest, and it's one of the most fundamentally timeless routines that many of us were taught from grade school. Start close to the basket and work your way out. Except if you're Steph. You start close to the basket and make your way out further and further until you're about 6.5 miles from the basket. Sheesh. But before his most iconic ritual of them all, he likes to get some fun in. So Steph does what he calls his creative shot, which typically looks something like this. That floater falling back to earth from another planet is always mesmerizing to watch. But this next Steph pregame moment will forever take the cake for the greatest pregame ritual known to man. All right, I'm convinced this guy really isn't human.
When Steph Curry shoots from the hallway tunnel at Oracle Arena, we estimate he stands about 52 feet from the hoop. That's even farther than a shot from half court.
Ever since he became a household name in 2013, Steph Curry hasn't failed even once in making our jaws drop and doing something we haven't ever seen before. And perhaps just as spectacular as his on-court play has been his insane pregame routine and rituals that are an entire circus show on its own. Not only has Steph revolutionized the game in a way unlike any player ever, he's somehow also found a way to revolutionize warming up before the game. The popularity of his routine has grown so widely that some fans are more interested in watching Steph alone on the court going through his routine than actually watching the game they paid to get their tickets for. And Steph's routine has become such a staple around the NBA that rival teams have started opening their doors early for fans to come and watch Steph Curry dazzle them with shots from inside the tunnel. Heck, with where this is heading, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts shooting them from the locker room. Even on the road, in arenas where Steph has inflicted the most emotional damage on the fan base of the opposing team, there are hundreds of eyes in the stands locked in on Steph's end of the court, while players from the home team shoot in silence, with no one having even noticed they're there. If you're like the majority of diehard Steph fans, you've probably seen him routinely run underneath the basket stanchion before every jump ball. But why? Most NBA superstars have something unique they do before every game. Russell Westbrook is famous for doing his silly dance on the bench with the ball in his lap. LeBron's got the iconic chalk toss. And Joel Embiid's known for his monster eating habits before games. But I've always wondered when Steph started that unique pregame ritual of his. In fact, he was once asked about it and said that it was something he started doing way back in the earliest stages of his career when David Lee was his teammate, and how the two of them used to race from half court to the stanchion.
I don't remember exactly where or when it started, but it was a race between me and my old teammate David Lee.
And ever since then, it's turned into something Steph does to get his heart pumping and the adrenaline rush going before games. No person left on earth disagrees that Steph is the greatest shooter in NBA history.
But he's shooting 49% from three. This season, he has 6 games with 10 or more threes, more than the rest of the league's players combined. And on contested threes, he's shooting 42%, which is better than 93% of the league.
But I don't think all of us can completely comprehend how one-of-a-kind Steph really is. What he has mastered in his pre-games directly correlates to the magic we see happen on the court. But even before he steps foot on the court, before all the trick shots, the tunnel shots, the half-court shots, and all of the above, we've got to talk a bit about what Steph does back in the locker room, or even before he arrives at the arena. Because like most athletes, Steph makes sure he gets a nice meal in before he burns through all that energy during games. And to use Steph's own words, thank Aisha, because she's the one stirring the pot in the kitchen so her man can stir the pot on the court. While guys like Russ go for 2 PB&Js before games, and players like Joel Embiid go for their biggest cravings like a king-sized burger, Steph keeps it clean, like his handles.
What does does Steph Curry eat before a game? Just a little grilled chicken, some pasta, a couple of veggies. It's way better when Aisha cooks it though. You know, just try to have a little bit of protein, carb, and some veggies and get ready for the game. Usually like 3 hours before the game.
I'm sure that isn't surprising to hear because Steph's one of the fittest guys in the league. And about what I was saying about his wife Aisha, she's been helpful in a lot of what Steph is doing off the court. And privately, I might add, because apparently Aisha gifting Steph a new toilet gave way to one of the greatest MVP seasons of all time. Yes, I just said that a toilet is responsible for Steph's revolutionary play. Don't believe me? Fine. But here's the story first. Because back in 2016, of course, we all had the privilege to watch this light-skinned flamethrower enter another dimension with his historical play, which became the first season ever a player averaged at least 30 points per game on shooting splits of at least 50% from the floor, 40% from three-point range, and at least 90% from the free throw line. But you'll be shocked to learn that fancy toilet helped Steph Curry start shooting the ball better from the three-point line. Steph even said it himself, quote, "Man, that toilet just makes me happy in life. I bet if I did a case study on my performance since I got that toilet, you'd see the difference." Well, here's a little case study for you. Remember folks, kids, angry person, even drunk people will lie to you often, but numbers certainly don't. In his first 8 road games after getting his new toilet, Steph literally went from taking a dump in the bathroom to taking one of his opponents by averaging 35.5 points on 53% shooting from the three-point line. Lord, can I get one of those toilets too? Those numbers were up from his 32 points per game and 45% from 3 in 9 games played before. He was already deadly, but now he entered video game territory. So yes, you can definitely see the link between all of Steph's actions pre-game and his actual play on the court. Trick shots help, eating right before games definitely help, and hey, apparently expensive toilets do the trick too. But undoubtedly, the work put in behind the scenes is where it all manifests itself for an all-time special athlete like Steph Curry. Remember the time Steph hit a world record 105 threes in a row?
After Warriors practice Saturday, Curry decided to get some extra three-pointers up, and he just kept making them and making them and making them. He hit 105 in a row.
I know he's on pace to finish his career with over 4,000 threes and broke Ray Allen's record nearly 2 years ago and did it in over 500 fewer games. But still, did that really happen? Kids, that's the level of dedication it takes. So before you go shooting 17 threes in your next AAU game, know that it starts with being consistent in your craft. Steph Curry might just be the hardest worker in the NBA, at least according to the guys that actually have to guard him and chase him around the court for 48 minutes. Heck, I'd be in the NBA too if I did this every day, but I can't, and nor will I ever be able to. So I'll stick to watching and talking about the NBA and bringing you guys so much more amazing content.